Well, here I am again, guys, and it's come to that time of year again where, the dreaded MOT. Um, so I've taken the decision that this year I'm going to fully clean out the van. So I've started it, I've emptied a lot of it out, I've cleaned the floor and stuff like that. Um, but nobody likes MOT time, but you do kind of, well, I do kind of take it as an opportunity just to get a sort of van reset, if you like. So I've emptied even the food cupboards, I've emptied the cupboard with all my crockery, my pots, my pans, all sorts of stuff. It's kind of weird to see the van empty, because I usually just leave everything in it all the time. So yeah, it gives me a chance just to give it a deep clean, and my plan is next is to take the wheels off, give them a clean, and I think what I'll do is I'll put the front wheels onto the back and the back wheels onto the front, just so that the tyres all wear evenly. I feel like the front tyres kind of wear out quicker than the back wheels, so if I swap them out, because they've been on maybe 9 or 10 months now, and it just makes the tyres wear, like I say, a wee bit more evenly and distribute the wear a wee bit. But for now, I'm going to give you a wee look around and let you see what I've been up to so far. So we've got here, this is where I usually keep like teas, coffees, a couple of cups. Usually have some cloth down the bottom here as well, just for doing dishes and stuff like that. And this cupboard here at the back here, this is where I do actually, well, I still have stuff in here, just my sweeping brush and everything. This needs a good thorough clean still. But I've got my socket at the back there, and that's the socket that powers the microwave. The microwave just sits down the bottom there. So yeah, you can see there is a lot of cleaning needing done. It's not been deep cleaned for quite some time. I have done the floor, but obviously I've walked on it since, so it's starting to get a bit dirty again. But yeah, the other thing I did was emptied out through here. You can see right through. So yeah, the reason there is a gap through there was a used bit of wood from something else. But you see, when you're sweeping out, it just makes it a wee bit easier. You can channel the dirt through that little bit and then sweep it out the doorway or into a pan. So yeah, this is the floor all starting to look a wee bit cleaner. I don't know what else is in the bottom of this cupboard, but yeah, still quite a wee bit to do. Yeah. I'll take you around to the front as well, guys, because the cab, apart from my can there that's needing to be put in the bin, I have been cleaning out in here as well, as you can see. It's looking a lot cleaner than it usually is. I've cleaned out under that seat. Now, we usually store all sorts of stuff there that could come in handy, jump leads and stuff like that. So yeah, but once I'm MOT'd and I've decided what I'm doing with this van, then I'll put everything back in. So you'll notice I'll say when I've decided what I'm doing with this van. It doesn't mean I'm getting rid of it or anything like that, but I have decided that I think it's time for the van to get a few little upgrades. So I've had this one for maybe 3 years, and in that time I've built it up slowly. There is still stuff needing done, but when you use a van, you probably notice this yourselves. When you use a van, you realise this could be better, or it could be doing with that there, or whatever, and the van is never ever done. It's an ongoing thing, and that's what it's like with my bus. So what I've decided most recently, I did have a couple of cold nights away recently where it started to drop in temperature. You know, we're into colder climes. It's not quite winter yet, but we're getting there. We've got a nice autumn colours and everything. It's still nice to get out in the van, but when you do get that touch of cold at night and you're kind of tucked in under the duvet, you think to yourself, why have I not fitted a heater yet? So personally, it's absolute laziness that I've not fitted a heater. I've been putting myself off for the sheer fact of drilling a big hole through the floor for your exhaust and stuff. It's kind of put me off a wee bit, but I'm getting to the point now where I think, right, let's just bite the bullet and get this done. So that'll be coming up on a future episode on this channel. But for now, I need to kind of clean out the cupboards, decide where the heater's going, and that means cleaning out underneath all the seats and stuff as well. So yeah, there is something in the back of my mind of how I'm going to do it, but I'm not fully decided yet. But the bit that I showed you earlier over there, where you've got the TVs mounted up and you've got the sections for the teas, coffees and your cups and whatnot, I'm wanting to make that a hell of a lot bigger. and I'm wanting to lift the microwave and put it up on the unit inside there, so that it's like effectively a cupboard. So I'll have a little cupboard above the microwave for different stuff to go in, and it frees off that cupboard down the bottom for hopefully putting the heater in. So that's the preliminary, I think that's the word. I think that's the preliminary plan for now. So we'll see how that goes, but certainly the more empty they get the van, the more ideas that I have flooding my head. So I'm just going to kind of see how it goes when I get down to it. But for now, that's plan one. But as you know, if you've watched any of my videos in the past, my plans change all the time. I'm kind of like from point A to point B, and then I get on to C, but I'm back to point A. A wee bit scatty, but I get there in the end, and I think that's just my general approach to things. But yeah, let's stop waffling, and I think what I'll do is I'll get the wheels off, give them a clean, and try and stay focused with what was here to do, because otherwise I'm going to get myself distracted here. Distracted already. Right, so what I think I will add into this little bit of video before I start doing these wheels is the fridge here. So you can see the fridge, and the location's fine because where it is on the end of the kitchen unit there still allows me to have the bed folded out and still gain access to the fridge if I decide to get some munch or make a cup while I'm needing the milk or whatever like that. But I'm not happy with this fridge. Now this fridge it was listed as a 12 volt fridge, which it is 12 volt or mains powered. It's a Regio fridge. I don't know what the litre capacity is. I'll let you see inside it. It is needing a wee clean as well, but let me just turn the camera around. Right, so there we go. It's not got a freezer compartment or anything. It's basic fridge. That's the name brand there, Regio. Now I'm going to turn you back around. This is one of the things where I was saying earlier, you use your van, you start to think this could be better, this could be changed. And one of my regrets is not getting what's called a compressor fridge. And the reason for that is I'm just using lead acid batteries. There's no lithium in here. I've not got the money for that jazz. And although I can use that fridge and have it powered up when I'm driving, it kind of runs okay through an inverter, or well, through my 12 volt with the split charge relay on the go. When you're pulled over and you're just relying on your stored power and maybe the wee bit of solar that I've got on here, it does use quite a lot of power. And through research and looking into what could be changed, I think a compressor fridge would be so much more suitable for my usage. So the plan is in the future that thing's going to go. I have looked at the price of compressor fridges, and the ones that I've looked at are ranging from £300 to £400, so it's not a massive expense. It is kind of like, it's an expense that's just kind of out there given that I've got a fridge already. But the plan is that I'll maybe take this fridge out. My brother's got a van now as well, so he might get the use of this until he gets upgraded too. But yeah, a compressor fridge is probably on the cards for me as one of the upgrades to this van. Compressor fridge, new layout in the kitchen for relocating the microwave, and then we'll get the diesel heater fitted as well. Also, the bed needs a bit of an upgrade. I'm happy with the way the bed is, the way it gets folded out and such like. But the foam that I used initially, now it is 3.5 years old, but the foam's kind of compressed and doesn't re-expand anymore. So I'm going to try and get better foam, recover the seats, and that'll be a decent upgrade, because when you are lying on that at night, you start to feel it in your hips now, because it's kind of gone more solid, if you like. So yeah, there is a few things needing change. That, and I think I've got like 2 little spotlights, like you can see just at the back here. We've got one, and that's it. That is basically 2 of them. That's all that's lighting up this van. I have got a couple of little battery charging things as well that sort of magnetise on the back doors, but I'm finding that it's getting more and more frustrating, I should say, having very little light. So I think a lighting upgrade as well is on the cards. And I think, you know, once I implement all these changes and tie them all together, the van will just feel so much better again. You know what it's like when you make a change to something that you've got, it kind of feels like it's new again. And that's the plan for this. But for now, stop waffling, get these wheels off, because I'm just putting off and chatting too much. So I need to get these wheels off and get them cleaned. So I've got one of the old steelies out here because I think what I'll do is, I don't know if I said this, but I want to swap the wheels round. I think I did say it earlier. So I'll put a steel wheel on there. I'll take that wheel off, give it a thorough clean. Then I'll swap it with that back one. It's a lot of jacking up and putting down, but like I think it'll be worth it. I don't know if you can see the wear on the tyres, but I mean it is starting to look low. And when you look at the back ones, they're still hell of a chunky. So yeah, probably worthwhile swapping them around so they wear evenly. The plan is to try and get all these 4 tyres worn out kinda at the same time, so that I can maybe get all-terrains the next time onto these wheels. But yeah, that's another story, and like I say, I keep going off on a tangent and talking about other things. So yeah, let's get the jack out, get this van in the air. Right, so I've been in underneath the van. I've used like a Dremel type tool just to cut away all the worst of the rubbish. And I've got the wire brush on the drill, which is basically just cleaned out. There's kind of wet material and everything in there, just road dirt, mud and stuff like that. So now that it's all cleaned out, it's all dry, it's all relatively good metal that's left. Hopefully when we get it in to get it MOT'd and welded. But for now, it's again, it's the handbrake on this thing, and I know it's quite a common problem to have handbrake issues on this type of van. But I think most of my problems aren't actually stemming from the calipers themselves. I think it's an issue with the actual handbrake cables. So I kind of knew this was going to be a problem. So I pre-ordered a couple of handbrake cables here. So for now, I'm just going to. So this is the end that goes in the sort of bridge at the middle. Attaches the 2 cables through like a bracket onto the 1 cable into the handle. And the other end, that's the end that goes into the actual bracket on the caliper. So fairly simple to fit. It's just kind of trying to get underneath the van and sort of routing them. And what I did try was I tried reversing up my ramps, but I'm not keen on getting under there because of the size of the wheels and the way they sit on my ramps. Not having a handbrake at the moment, it's kind of sketchy to get underneath the van when it's on the ramp. So although you leave it in gear, it just doesn't sit right with me. So I'm going to try and just shimmy underneath the van sitting on its wheels. It can't fall any further than it currently sits, so it'll be safer for me to sort of teasing the old cable out of its position and try and get the new one fitted. I'll not have the underlying thought of the van falling on me whilst I do it. So yeah, I'll try and shimmy under there and just crack on. So my cables are kind of all held up in place just with zip ties. So the original sort of brackets and such like that would have held the cable initially have obviously all rotted away, given the age of this bus. So this part's actually quite an easy bit. It's just trying to undo them all. The hard part is undoing them from the calipers, and I think on looking upon it, I think I am going to have to jack it up and sort of take the wheels off one by one. Right, so as the cable's out, you're able to see the sort of wear and tear on them in comparison to the shiny new one here. But more importantly is the tightness of the cable coming in and out the sleeve. Like, this is what I think is causing all the problems on my handbrake. And I've got, yeah, I mean, it needs a good old push. And I've tried putting oil in that down these, but I don't know if it's going to show, but the damage to it, can you see that? Not very well, but yeah, the damage to it is just, obviously it's like that all the way sort of down the inner sleeve. But certainly, if you get this new one, it just slides. It's just totally different. So I think that's going to solve all the issues. Now what I will say, and because I'm on my own and I'm rolling around in the street, I'm not on a ramp, I'm not even up on my drivable ramps, it was very difficult to film what I was doing. But if you're doing it like this, my camera works terrible, this sort of castle locking section here is a pain in the tits, because it obviously locks in underneath the van, but it's in an enclosure. So you have to go through a hole and try and knock that out, if you like, in order to be able to pull the cable free. And I would love to give you a better demonstration underneath the van. But like I say, it was difficult enough doing it without trying to film as well. So yeah, it's something to be aware of. I would say before you try attempting this, is to get underneath your van. Have a look at what access you've got, make sure you've got enough sort of torches and everything. I just used the light off my phone, wasn't ideal. I would recommend to have a torch just to shine in, see what you're doing, and basically all you do is you get a screwdriver in there, in the hole, and then you can pop that off, because there is a section where it allows it to open up and come straight off the cable. I've no idea where that section's gone, and it's probably rolling around inside my van at the bottom somewhere, but it allows you to pull that through. That was the most difficult part of this whole task. But yeah, let's get these on and see what happens. So lo and behold, the circlip on the driver's side cable at the caliper end is one of the tight little circlips that you have to like get into. The other side was one of the kind of looped ones that you could put a screwdriver in and just pop it out. This one's just not coming free. So unfortunately, the side of the van, I'm going to have to jack it up just to get the cable off at the caliper end, which is a bit of a pain in the tits, but kind of just leave it, it's not going to do it itself, so time to get the wheel off. Right, wheel's off, and my issue here is, let's see if we can see it. So inside here, can't see it very well. No, this camera works right. Right, just in there, there's a circlip that I need to get out. So I'll get in my screwdriver from this angle anyway. Now that I've got the wheel off, I'll be able to knock it free and just pull that cable basically straight through. Right, so that's the new cable in. And you can see on this side as well, guys, something that I did try and combat the old cables. There's a double sprung this quite some time ago, and it did work for a short time, but the cables I think just got a wee bit worse than they were. My next issue, guys, is this nut here. This is the centre cable or rod for the handbrake, and that nut will not turn at all. Obviously I've soaked it, copious amounts of WD-40 and such like, used mole grips on the actual bar, and then a spanner on the nut, obviously the whole thing is just turning within the mole grips, so I can't get enough pressure on that nut to start turning it. It's complete bollock. Okay guys, so next job is airbag light and service light. Now we know what's causing that, and it's to do with the, I think it's called a steering ring, or it comes up on the OBD2 reader as a squib, resistance too high. So what I have to do here is I have to take all the plastics off, which I've never done before, so it's kind of just trial and error. And obviously you've got the airbag in the steering column, so before I go disconnecting anything, I'm going to just disconnect the battery here. So the battery's in the 4 section there. So I'll take the battery off, and then I'll start taking the steering wheel away and make access to the ring. So I've got a replacement part here. So that's basically it. Obviously it's a used part. Given the age of the vehicle, you can't actually buy a new one anymore, so hopefully it works. Right, so what I've done, I've undone the battery there. I've got cloths underneath the terminals just so that I don't get any contact. And now somehow need to figure out how this all comes apart. So I'm assuming that the actual cowling here is just very hard to see in that hole there, but I'm thinking there's something. I need to get a torch and look in there, but we'll get these screws out certainly, and it should just get that off anyway. Right, so it was just these 2 screws that I aforementioned, and what I'm thinking is that given the level of dirt inside this column here, I'm wondering if probably cleaning out the steering ring on this actual original one might actually work. A little contact cleaner maybe. Well, we'll take it out anyway and have a look. That's the steering wheel off anyway. So there's 3 wee lugs on this plastic piece that you just have to get out of the way. I suspect, looking at this, that it's the wrong part that I've got here. Bugger. Right, so the next thing I need to do, guys, is I need to plug in my OBD2 and then check for fault codes. So the data that I'm showing it's this one here that it's this one that matters. It's showing me at 6 ohms. Now my problem is I don't know if that's high or low. If any of you do know, if you could tell me in the comments if that's a high reading or not. So all I've had to do was clean the umbilical cord inside the part itself, because the replacement part that I got was clearly wrong. Thank you eBay. But these things happen. So yeah, if you can let me know if that's too high, that'd be great. So putting it back together, I'll just turn it off. Putting it back together, so what I was trying to say there was, putting it back together, the lights have gone off for now. But the problem is it's an intermittent fault. The lights aren't on all the time. I could just be driving down the road and they'll illuminate and they can be on for quite some time, or they can just be on for a few seconds and go off again, which is why I've not really been too fussed about fixing it until MOT time. But sod's law is that it goes in for its MOT and the dashboard's lit up like a Christmas tree. So so now it's presented itself as a proper problem. So yeah, I need to get to the bottom of it. I need to hope that they stay off for the retest. So fingers crossed, guys, fingers crossed. Right, so I don't know where I am with this video because I've just been recording little bits and pieces here and there, but what I'm doing here, I mean, you can tell this is another day because I've got different clothes on. So we had a bit of an issue when it came to changing the Squib thing, the steering ring, whatever you want to call it. It sits inside, sends a signal for the dashboard for the airbag. So the one that I got was far too small, and I'll show you the difference between them both. I'll put an image up here. But anyway, so the reason for this video is, although we got the lights off, they're still coming on here and there. Depends where you're steering or whatever. So I have had an MOT done, but on the way back home from the test centre, the lights came on again for a few seconds and went back off. But fortunately, I have ordered up one of these. This is the correct unit, as you can see in there. It's completely a lot different. And I believe both types are used in the Movanos and the Renault Master vans. So I don't know why there is two types, but there is. So this one comes with the control stalks, which matches mine. So obviously it's a used part. You don't get these new anymore. So what we'll do is we'll go back through the whole process of removing the steering wheel, getting back into the guts of it. This time we'll take the whole stock section off, which is this. We'll swap it round and then we'll measure the resistance again. So maybe we'll get the live data for the resistance in ohms. And earlier on in the video, I think I put it on where I'm on like 7 ohms or something like that. I can't remember exactly now because obviously I'm in a different day, but I think it's meant to be about 3 ohms. So we'll check this out anyway. We'll take it off again, put that one on and see how we get on with it. Right, so first things first, guys, is we need to disconnect the battery. Obviously, if you're doing anything to do with the airbag, you don't want to have a live system, so we'll disconnect the battery. What I'll do is I'll just take that positive terminal up. I'll put the cloth underneath so that it can't make contact, and then we'll be able to remove the steering wheel airbag from there. Okay guys, so with the battery now disconnected, to get this section off of the steering wheel, if you're looking at the back of it here, I'm not sure if you can actually see it, but you've got these wee slots for a screwdriver, one at either side, and we'll just pop a screwdriver in. That centre bit with the airbag attached lifts off. Right, so there's a wee tabby at the back of here, a wee yellow tab. I'm going to move the camera and show you how to actually undo the airbag here. Right, so as you can see there, we've got the wee yellow tab. So you have to unclick that. It'd be great if I had a tripod or something for this camera here, but and then you're able to, once that's taken out, once that's taken out of there, like that, you're able to undo that with just pulling off the lead. Right, so it just pulls off the back there like that, and that's you got your airbag here. Then next thing you have to do here, guys, is undo this. So I believe it's a type size 20 torque. So yeah, you undo that just normal way around. Right guys, so it's been a bit of a struggle to get to this point, hence the no filming, because I'm obviously just trying to figure it out as I go along. So just so you're aware, there's two clips either side of the sort of wiring harnesses. There's two clips that lock in place that you just have to get with your fingers, and then in under this white sprung part you have to push that up, and then behind that, just underneath it there is an actual locating screw, which is this big bad boy here, a little Torx head. So you have to take that out, and then this is all sort of ready to come free. Obviously the wiring harness has to be unplugged from the back, and then you can lift it out and swap the unit. And that's the faulty one. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that this is all a complete unit. And the fact that you can't buy them new anymore is going to definitely be problematic for some people to try and source them. Found it difficult to try and get one myself, and we don't even know if that works yet. Right, so the reassembly, what I'll say that I just found is the vent bit for inside here. So you need to clip that back in. It came loose on mine anyway, taking the fascia off. And the reason you need to take this fascia off is just because you can't get in otherwise to the clips that are holding it in place at the back. So that's the screw back in there. I'll let you see the head of that now that it's back in place. So yeah, you just pop that up and it's just in there. Everything seems to be going okay. I need to get the dashboard screws back in, so there's one there and one at the other side. The rest of it is all just clips that you just pop back in with a little bit of pressure, and then obviously you've got the centre cowling and then the actual steering wheel itself. So I'm just going to leave the centre cowling off just now. I'm going to put the steering wheel back on, connect the battery, and then we'll check the resistance on this steering ring. You know what guys, I am going to put the plastics back on. So it's just two screws, but it'll be easier to do before the before the steering wheel's in place. I've got a wee bit more room to play with. Genuine reaction guys, because I've not actually tested this yet. I mean the light's not on, but I think what I'll do is I'll get the tool in plugged in and see what the resistance levels are saying on the live data. Because obviously, because it's an intermittent fault, there's a chance that the lights wouldn't be on anyway, well, if this is the same. So because it's attached to your steering, obviously the ribbon cable moves every time you turn or use any of the switches, it might still come on. So like I say, we'll get the tool all plugged in, and that way we'll get a better idea, we'll see what it's saying. So if you're ever plugging one of these in to read the fault codes or whatever on your vehicle, well on your van like this, you just undo this little hatch at the bottom here. I'll let you see. I don't know how light it's going to show, but if you open up this hatch, the OBD2 connection port is just in there, as you can see. So you just plug that into there. Right, there is a bit of glare here I can see on the screen, and you can just see me, but I'll try and fix that. I think that looks a wee bit better for you guys. So for this to work, I believe you've got to have the ignition on. I might be wrong. The thing as well is it's probably still holding the same error codes as it would have anyway, because I've never cleared them first. So we'll clear them and then see what happens. Right, so that's erased the trouble codes. And I think if I start it up, right, so the resistance, as you can see, it's 3.7 ohms now, and the resistance that we had before was a lot higher than that, and it was triggering the light. So it looks like this has fixed it. Happy days. Right guys, so it's been an eventful couple of days, I'll say, trying to get this through an MOT. Finally done, finally MOT'd, fixed a couple of problems. We still have the underlying issue of that welding that needs to be done. But I got a phone number from my mechanic and I'm going to phone that up tomorrow. This is currently Sunday, so the guy's not going to be available. Phone him up on Monday morning, get it booked in, and we'll get that sorted out. Although it's not an MOT fail, if we leave it the way it is, then it's just going to add to the rot. It's going to start rotting straight through the sill. It will become an MOT fail by next year. So better to address these things as they're spotted. But moving on, let's just end this video here. Like I say, thanks for joining me for this. If you liked the video, hit the like button. And if you like watching this type of thing, please subscribe. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.